charges in this story are disturbing, and I just want to say that before we get into it. Reality TV personality Sidney Starr is behind bars in Fulton County, facing severe felony charges involving a minor. Hapeville police arrested the model and television personality, whose legal name is Sydney Favors, on Sunday at the Embassy Suites on International Boulevard.
Next thing you know, 2 years later, all of this false stuff comes out nobody knows nothing about. And that's literally how that went. It's nothing else to it. Which caused me to lose a record deal that I had been working on for years. I'm coming out to LA.
What do you mean you lost a record deal behind that? Just over
I was
a rumor?
I was in negotiations with Interscope about doing a deal. Man, I was flying out to California, getting on yachts, going on the water with these people, eating fruit, doing all type of stuff to secure this deal. They said that was so big on social media, they didn't want to go through with it.
Wow.
And I lost a record deal from a lie.
Girl, Sidney Starr is what happens when you let an attention seeker go too far, because Sidney just got arrested and thrown in jail for messing with a minor. And right now, Chingy is sitting back saying, I told y'all.
Individual eventually came out, said they lied. By then, the damage was done, because all the people who blew it up when the individual lied on me, that same energy wasn't there when the individual came out and said the truth. So damage was done.
Mind you, it was because of attention that Sidney ruined his life when she claimed that he was DL. The minute she did that, she should have been locked up and the key thrown away, because she's been a menace to society since then. She's gone on to ruin more people, and Chingy has the receipts to show that this isn't the first time Sidney has done something like this. Okay, so we've seen Sidney Starr be a mess ever since she popped out as a trans media star back in 2012, but she just topped her antics, and the insanity is real. She was in Hapeville getting ready to shoot something for Zeus Network when she was arrested for allegedly messing with an underage. The boy was visiting Georgia to attend a football event. Sidney walked up to him in the hotel and said he was cute, and later asked the victim to touch his iPhone against hers so that they could exchange contact. Now the board didn't know who Sidney was, or anything about her. So when she sent him a message asking to meet him in her hotel room, he went anyway to see what Sidney wanted. Sidney spotted the victim in the hallway and used her hotel room key to forcefully bring him up to her floor. The victim reported that he had no key and no way to escape. Music. But Sidney told him that she would bring him back downstairs and simply wanted to show him something. And that was when Sidney essayed him. As he tried to run away, Sidney grabbed his foot and offered him money to keep quiet about what happened. But thankfully, he was able to break free and immediately contacted a family member that was close by. The police were contacted and Sidney was arrested. Now, once she was arrested, Sidney admitted that it did happen, but he had given his consent. Music. And here's where it gets crazy, because she really thought the police were dumb enough to believe anything she said. Sidney claimed that she didn't know he wasn't 18 years old and thought that she was dealing with an adult the whole time. Like, what in the hell? First of all, the law and just basic human decency both say that a minor cannot give consent. So, that was never going to fly. And does Sidney think that we don't have eyes or common sense? In what world does a 13-year-old look like an 18-year-old? She targeted him from the beginning, seeking some cheap attention from a teenager. And when it backfired, she tried to talk her way out of the situation like she's always done.
And I'm glad they snatched that wig from you, bitch, because let us see you in your full character, baby, in your full essence, because you a monster. If these allegations are true, you're a fucking monster.
But a lot of people have been waiting to see her get her karma. And Chingy isn't about to let Sidney play it off like this was a one-time mistake. She already asked the court to be released on bond because she's not a flight risk or a danger to the community. Sidney pointed out that she doesn't have a criminal history, works as a media personality, and would be available for future court proceedings. The judge denied her request. And for Chingy, they should just keep Sidney locked up and throw away the key, because her saying that she's not a danger to the community shows that she doesn't really have any remorse for what she's done or the trauma she's caused people that had the misfortune of running into her. And just because Sidney doesn't have any recorded criminal history doesn't mean she hasn't been moving mad on the streets. Chingy even posted a statement someone made admitting that Sidney has been doing this for a while now, saying, well, Sidney Starr favors, looking like Big Meech and Hassan Campbell had a baby, finally got apprehended for the felony charges. I say finally because Favor Starr's been doing this for years, and it was not a secret. They just finally got caught. Some acts have even been caught on video. I understand in today's illogical thinking spaces, no one wants to say anything so that they are not labeled as a snitch. But effing on little boys as a grown man, no matter what you call yourself or claim to be, is never okay. Size, and if you think this is just Chingy hating, then you clearly don't know your Sidney Starr lore. Seeing Sidney walking around is a nightmare for straight men. You might be on your own thinking that it was a fun interaction with a fan, and the next minute you're on the blog seeing everyone call you a DL man. In 2015, she brought rapper Sway Lee to the gossip blogs after she posed for a picture with him in a way that implied something romantic was going on. But before the rumor could grow wings and fly, Sway came out with a cutthroat response saying, "If you see us and we don't want to stop or take a picture, this is why this is a man. I was stopping to take a picture with a fan. Don't get it misconstrued." That must have cut Sidney because everyone was pretty sure that she's the one that leaked the picture to the blogs. And her friend Shauna Brooks also jumped in saying that Sway Lee didn't have a problem calling Sidney a woman the night they met, and wanted to take her back to his hotel room because he doesn't have a type. Once the storm calmed, she found yet another way to get the blogs talking about her. In 2017, it was rapper Designer's turn to get caught up in Sidney's sticky web. A video of Sidney twerking on him at a club went viral and people immediately started talking about it. As the discourse got louder, Designer jumped on Instagram right before taking a flight to say he didn't know who Sidney was and that she was transgender.
Alright, man, they trying to make a joke of me, you know what I'm saying, put these videos up. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a fucking dude, man. We was at a party, man. Nigga came up to me, I'm a celebrity, man. Get your clout, man, get your clout off that shit.
Fans gave Designer grace because at this point, Sidney had been in the public eye long enough for people to know that this is her MO. When she feels like people aren't paying her enough attention, she finds a way to cuddle up with a celebrity with enough clout to their name, knowing that with a little push, the blogs would start carrying it. She knew that coming to Designer in that way would suggest something going on and get people talking about him negatively. But as long as she can get her name out there again, she doesn't care about the backlash on him. And that's exactly what she did to Chingy and turn him from an upcoming rapper to a joke. Back in 2010, Chingy was getting a lot of praise for his hits like Right Third and Holiday Inn. But all the momentum he built up came to a screeching halt the second he had the misfortune of running into Sidney. One morning, he woke up to find out that the internet was going crazy over a couple pictures that Sidney had posted of the two of them and claimed that they were booed up.
Let me paint a picture for you.
This was the early 2000s, and the last thing any black rapper wanted was to be called gay or on the DL because it killed whatever credibility you had in the industry. Wendy Williams even talked about how she was almost burned at the stake for trying to expose rappers who were on the DL and said that Diddy used his influence to get her fired from Hot 97 because she was aggressively reporting on rumors about him being gay too. Sighs and gasps. Even now, most rappers wouldn't admit to liking men or even trans women because there's still a stigma around it, and hip-hop isn't exactly forgiving towards rappers that don't fit the archetype. So when Nay said that both of them were dating, she basically sealed his fate. Chingy was shouting at the top of his lungs that he didn't know her, and she was simply a fan that he took pictures with. But blogs like the story of them being a couple better and went into overdrive. The memes were endless, and his career was effectively done. He lost his record deal, a distribution deal, and the industry's love and support. Chingy watched people that he was friends with turn their backs on him because they were scared about what the association would do to their careers. Sidney continued to double down on it and didn't take it back even when he asked her to. And Chingy watched his career get sabotaged by a trans woman he didn't even know. 2 years later, once she'd milked it for all it's worth, Sidney admitted that the story was fake. It was just an innocent photo, and they didn't know each other. She said that she was young and trying to get her name out there. And her friends convinced her that posting their pictures would create enough buzz to get her name out there. And she believed them, and it worked at Chingy's expense.
Somebody took a picture of me
being nice to a fan who came up and was excited to meet me and saying how much of a fan they was and just wanted a picture because they love my music and stuff. And I took the picture. And they based the 2-year relationship line off of that.
You destroyed his life.
No,
For fun.
Adam, no,
Yeah,
I
you did.
didn't. I'm gonna be real. I was young. I was 19. I was a backup dancer. I was working for a show that was with Shauna the rapper. Chingy opened up for one of the shows. I always had a big crush on Chingy, so I wanted to get a picture. He was very welcoming. People were in my ear saying, Sid, you gotta do something with this because you're a trans woman. They're not gonna pay no attention to you. This was, mind you, 2010. Trans women were not being looked at for anything.
I was finna stop taking pictures with homosexual individuals. And nothing against them, but now I thought like, that's what they gonna do. Didn't want to be compromised at all.
No one was talking about Chingy at that time. I actually made the world start talking about him again. But I became a warm-hearted, good person in my soul. I apologize.
It's taken years for Chingy to earn back his credibility, and in that time, other rappers had already come on the scene, and he was basically forgotten. It's hard not to think about what his career might have been if it wasn't derailed like that. Since then, Sidney had gone to have somewhat of a career as a transmedia personality, but that incident showed her that she could get in as much drama as she wanted and make it out because she never really had to face the consequences of her actions and got rewarded instead. So, this really is the first time that she's really going to face the music. Since an underage is involved, it is highly unlikely that any judge would grant her bail. And once she gets convicted, she could spend anywhere from 25 years to life in prison. And we've already heard stories of how male prisoners react once they find out that you are in there for being a PDF. And the internet is also hoping that Sidney finally gets what's coming to her. That transformer went down on a 13-year-old and chased after him out the hotel room when the boy found out it's a man. Something tells me this isn't its first encounter. Mind you, there's so many gay men in ATL. He needs to be put in jail for what he did to that boy. And there's no telling how many other boys he slept with. This tracks. A few years ago, I was out partying with her, and she was just going up to random men on the street grabbing them. It was hella scary. And that's the last time I ever hung out with her. Do you guys think Sidney Starr had it coming? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe Spill Theory. And I'll see you in the next video.